Look at that. Piping hot cup of coffee. Both of us
Yes,
for the
sir.
first time on the podcast.
Right. Shout out to
Cheers.
us. Cheers.
How are you, man?
Welcome.
How you doing, buddy?
Capped?
Buddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy.
You just get that?
Immediately.
You just get the Ghost Recon?
The breakpoint. Yeah, it was only 30. No, I'm kidding. It was like $6. So I was like, whatever. Prime had a deal.
Oh, on Amazon?
So
did you do the Amazon Prime Day?
No, man, there wasn't really that much good stuff on there. This might have been part of the deals, though. I don't know, but
I didn't even look. I just I try not to use Amazon, man. It's just too bad, man, for our environment, man.
Oh, okay, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, I completely hear you there. Oh, perfect. There we go.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm just getting older, man. You know, like my dad, he doesn't fucking buy anything online, like nothing.
Yeah,
like he goes anything he wants, he goes and finds it in Target or like in Lowe's or something, or like it's not that he doesn't know how. I think he just would rather just like to get it himself. And I think like I'm starting to become that kind of way, man, where I just don't want to even go. I don't even want to deal with like Amazon and. You know, I mean, like for some things, it's really you need it, like for toilet paper, like stuff like that, like stuff that you want, like cheap. Like for me, I get like detergent and shit on Amazon, but like I won't buy like simple little knickknacks just because I'm gonna try to get it cheaper. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah. Power to you for being able to buy toilet paper on there because I always try to buy that when I'm out. So.
I mean, well, no, man. I mean, I guess I get that.
But yeah,
you also drive.
I reserve it. I reserve Amazon for movies and shit. For those that don't know, witnessed it. I've got an insane fucking collection of movies, so that's where I usually get my stuff from, Amazon wise. But really, man,
books.
Movies
and books, really.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Kindle, so I'll get digital books, ebooks, but
yeah, I figured you had that.
It's. I definitely prefer Walmart or any other brick and mortar stores for most of my stuff.
Well, fuck Walmart too. Take that. Fuck them.
Yeah, low prices, buddy.
Yeah, it's just.
Hey, buddy, that's my employer.
Oh, you just got hired. I forgot about that.
I haven't worked a single day.
I thought you were working this weekend.
No, man, because I had that COVID scare. So, as of right now, I'm probably not going to go back till Thursday.
Okay.
So.
All right, pal. Oh yeah. Well, you still dashing then?
Oh, yeah.
You still Oh, so the COVID goes away once you're in the car.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have COVID.
Yeah.
But I can't return until I know for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And you think you got it from the little guy?
Yeah, somebody within his child.
His mom's like friend group or something.
Yeah.
Or his child care. You said like his babysitters or some shit like that.
Child care services. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Yeah. How was that UFC card, man? How was that, pal?
Good. I know I saw the co-main too, but I cannot for the life of me remember who it was.
Was it good?
It was okay. Man, who was it? I'd have to go back in.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. The point is you're supposed to remember him,
Not really even fault to them, but dude, it started so early. The main card
really more than like earlier than usual.
Yeah, well, they had the Lomachenko fight.
But UFC usually doesn't budge. Like they usually won't budge for stuff. Well, but you know what's interesting is they're under the same broadcasting banner, ESPN.
Yeah. So ESPN knew Lomachenko was going to steal the spotlight. But yeah, I mean it started at 6. So that's an early fight card, So I think I want to say like Ortega, that fight finished like 30 minutes before the main card of Lomachenko started. So I don't really remember too much of the co-main, but I definitely do remember watching the main fight. Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega. Yeah, man, I liked it. Ortega coming off a loss to Holloway, man. Had about a 2-year layoff.
So he lost to Holloway and then he had 2 years off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is his first fight back.
This is his first fight back, and going into it, I think he was 13-1. So not too bad of a record. He's beaten some guys.
Bad.
But he came in and he just looked professional, man. It didn't look like that ring rush really affected him.
Yeah.
He beat Ortega. He beat Zombie to the punch. Dropped him with a beautiful. It was intended to be a spinning back fist, I guess, but it was a forearm strike that hit right on Zombie's jaw. So he dropped him a little bit with that. I think he could have capitalized a little bit better. I think if you throw a, Habib or, any of these more professional fighters that have had experience in those situations, I think he probably could have put Zombie out. I think he tried to mix it up a little bit and try to wrestle him and get the grappling going. But, in that case, I understand, they're anticipating him trying to finish him out with some strikes, but I think you got to go for it, get him with a pound. But he looked great, man. So Ortega definitely got the easy nod on that decision. So now that, now you look at him being possible for Volkanovski for the featherweight title.
That's what I heard. I heard they're trying to get him a title shot now.
Yeah, he was number 2 contender going in. I'm not sure where he falls in now.
I say don't rush him, man. Like, let him get another fight and try to just get some confidence going again. It's been a few years.
I think it maybe even sets up a Holloway Ortega rematch, and then
yeah. Well, there and I listened to his interview before the show. He had spoken on that, and after his loss, he had felt that they would meet no matter what, like no matter But yeah, of course, this would be a good time to start thinking of that kind of like, setting up that kind of storyline where maybe he gets the Volkanovski fight, and if he's whether he's successful or not, they can put him in there with Holloway. So yeah, man, I see what they're trying to do. I or what they should do. I worry for his own sake that maybe it's just a little too rushed. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe he gets into a fight with some guy that he thinks is an easy touch, and he ends up getting hurt. So maybe you got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, I think Dana going into it had mentioned that it was more than likely going to be a title shot of the winner. But to your credit, man, you're coming off a 2-year layoff, and you fought dominant performance, yes, but.
Well, not only that, but you want to build up interest and build up like buzz for the fight. You want to. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, I think it's a perfect segue to have him maybe avenge his only loss, beat and go after Volkanovski, or if you're Holloway's sake, because Volkanovski has no intention of fighting Holloway again. In recent events. So. Which I understand. I know you kind of found the call to be controversial. A lot of people did that second fight. Holloway got kind of robbed on that. But
I think the general public isn't interested in the third fight either. Like they think they would rather have people move on.
Yeah, your only person that's probably interested is maybe Max, because he's gotten kind of robbed twice. The first fight wasn't nearly as close, but Volkanovski, you've won 2. So there's really no point in you putting your belt on the line for a third time against somebody, But, maybe this sets up where you get Holloway and Ortega now to fight for that little spot with number 1 contender. Because I'm not sure where Holloway falls. I don't know if he's still a number 1 ranked contender. I know.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
Ortega was number 2 going in, so I don't know if him getting this win, because I think Zombie was number 4. I don't know if that moves him to number 1.
Wasn't Zombie was on a pretty big Zombie was on a layoff too though, wasn't he?
He was off for a little bit too. They're both coming off
because he had to serve, and this is what I liked about Zombie is I guess he had to serve in his country's military for a few years, so that's pretty cool. I mean, maybe I'm just bullshitting right now, but that's what I've
that's definitely honorable. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of what we expected it to be, man. It was kind of a dull fight for UFC, but they have these every Saturday, so
yeah, it's just another
throw in at least if it's not an exciting co-main, at least they've been decent about being in an exciting main event. Because last weekend was, I believe, it wasn't Holman and Aldana. Who was
It
the one?
feels like it was home Aldana, but I don't think it was.
No, because I remember the last time we ran this week, we mentioned that we hadn't covered it, and we were on a 2-week break.
Yeah, it was just it's been dry up until this this week.
I'm gonna remember if
dude, there's gonna be some good fights coming up too within the next few weeks. Some smaller cards that that will have some really good fighters. Like I am looking forward to. I don't know what's coming up on the UFC. I think isn't Gaethje fighting here pretty soon?
24th
of October.
Yeah, so I think that's the
next my god. Okay, so we still got a lot of big fights. It's just not heating up.
This weekend coming up.
UFC is gonna have a big show to close the year too. I already know.
Oh, New Year's Eve they usually do. I mean, I know we've got the 24th is Gaethje and Khabib. Also on that card is what's his name? Is Whitaker on that card?
Robert Whitaker
and possibly. Kenny, or is that a co-main on a different one? Because I know it's on a main. I think it's a co-main. I'd have to look at the fight cards always changing up. Because I remember originally they were, kind of pushing for that. Way back, they're pushing for Ferguson and Poirier. Obviously, that's not happening now. But yeah, man. I mean, there is some stuff coming up. They'll usually put a big one on for New Year's Eve. On a realistic standpoint, as far as much buys, you're probably looking at the biggest one of the year right now. With Khabib and Gaethje. I mean, Khabib's been part of. I mean, a lot of that was under McGregor's name, but Khabib and McGregor, I believe, is still the number one bought pay-per-view of all time, UFC sake. So you're gonna have that's probably gonna be the biggest card of the year. I mean, probably gonna rival the Adesanya card.
But what's interesting is I remember Dana making a comment on how Izzy and Costa how that fight actually generated more buzz than Conor and Khabib, but that fight didn't sell as much, did it?
Well, correct. What he might be referring to is the weigh-ins.
The weigh-in.
The viewer count of the weigh-ins, like I believe, doubled.
Yeah, it was insane.
But I don't know when they're talking about pay-per-view buys. I don't know. Are they strictly talking about pay-per-view buys, or are they looking at a live gate too? Because obviously, Khabib and McGregor was a huge live.
Yeah, I think it's just pay-per-view buys.
Okay.
Like so, I think Costa and Izzy did around what, like 700, 800,000.
I think it was 900, which was the third biggest.
How many was Conor and Khabib? Was that like a million and a half or two?
I think it was like 1.7.
Yeah.
Because I know, surprisingly, the Usman Masvidal fight was 1.2.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. That was the kind of the cornerstone of the Fight Island. So that one sold really well. I don't think DC and Stipe did too well. I think it was right around the 700-800 mark, maybe a little bit higher than Adesanya's. But yeah, like you said, we got a lot of good stuff coming up, man. UFC will probably. I mean, we got Gaethje. There's, there's one a month. So I'm not sure what one's in November. December we've got, I think, Nunez fighting on the 12th.
Okay, I do like watching her because she's a badass.
Good, man. She's insane.
She's a badass, man.
And then of course we've already mentioned it. The McGregor Poirier fight is pretty much
that's next year though, right? January
12th, maybe.
Okay.
23rd. I'm not exactly sure. But boxing, man. Kind of talk about the upcoming events.
Well, let's talk about what was that kid's name? he didn't headline, but he started the card. Berlanga, Edgar Berlanga.
Oh, the questionable stoppage.
Yeah. He was like 14-0, 14 knockouts, something like that, and all of his his average time in the ring was at 1.5 minutes, and so I think they were trying to keep his knockout streak going. They wanted to keep this kind of image of him knocking guys out in the first 1.5 minutes, and they might have jumped the gun a little bit, but that guy he was fighting was already cut, and he already looked like he wasn't gonna be able to even kind of make it out of the second round if they let that go on. So Edgar Berlanga is a heavy-handed guy. He's a pretty big guy. I forgot to see how old he was, but I'm interested in seeing. He kind of reminds me of Elvis. And I don't know if they're both Puerto Rican, and that's why. I think he's Puerto Rican. I can't recall, but so they knockout artists on ESPN. Edgar Berlanga, I will be checking for him in the future, just because who doesn't like seeing a knockout. And on the day that he doesn't get a guy he can stop, I think that's when we got a really good fight on our hands. So I'm gonna be checking for him. Then on the I was just before we did the show. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. So before we did the show, I was wondering who even was the co-main last night. So it was Saucedo, right? And Alex Saucedo and something I forget the other dude. Barboza. He won. Barboza won, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, he did. Pretty. Dominant. I thought he had a dominant win. He got knocked down. What did you think of the knockdown? Did you think that was legit, or do you think that he just fell, or what?
We were texting back and forth. I thought it was legit knockdown. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought it was a slip. Who was doing who called somebody? One of the commentators. Oh, Bradley called it right away.
Yeah.
And upon further review, I mean, his legs didn't really get tangled up. I mean, you could make the argument that he was already kind of on his way from losing his footing. But I think it was a clean shot.
Yeah, well, because he hit him, and he did lose his footing,
right?
But had he not hit him, he wouldn't have gone down. And it was kind of it wasn't like a earth shattering punch, but it did send him to the canvas. So, I mean, how could you not score it? And I like that. I like that they did that on ESPN last night. The replay that did they checked to make sure that that's what it really was, instead of just letting people get pissed off and say, "Oh, fuck boxing's corrupt. This is bullshit." That was whatever. So I like that. I've never really seen that before, so that I was really impressed.
Yeah, just to chime in real quick on the replay, the one criticism I have about that, like you, I'm not too familiar with it. I've never really seen it before. I do not like that they ran that through to the beginning of the round.
Oh,
they timed it before the start of the round, and then they made the confirmation of the call. When you've got those rounds going, especially if you're Saucedo, because when he got that knockdown, he was already kind of behind on the scorecards.
Right. He was fairly well. I mean, he was losing.
Right. So, I mean, you're kind of losing a little bit of momentum. It's not a huge deal. It's a small complaint. But
yeah. You make it a little more.
Ran it through when the fighters are at break, talking to their coaches. How is the ref not able to just run over to the official real quick, get the answer before they touch gloves, saying, "All right, that was ruled a knockdown," instead of starting it, stopping it, then ruling it as a knockdown.
Yeah.
Just a little thing like that. But it was not a big deal. I do like that it's in place though. Because I do think you get a lot of those cases where it's unfairly judged a knockdown when it was clearly a slip, or vice versa. So,
right, and here's perhaps what I was kind of emphasizing was the viewers, like you don't end up feeling like, oh, I just got robbed. They're fucking with me. You know what I mean? I feel like that was a knockdown, and they're just bullshitting because they want this guy to win. Like, oh, fuck boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, you as a viewer, you don't feel like you got fucked. So that's why I like it. I also do like it for the purpose of having a fair fight, but also, I want people to see what I see and don't just think of like that it was intentional, or think that, like, they just want us, that there's corruption in every little thing that is done in boxing, because it's not. But there obviously there is, but like in this case, I like that they wanted to clear it up. And you're right, they could have made it more seamless, and I'm hopefully they'll continue to do that in the future, and it'll be a little more
obviously new. So
yeah, so
it's a little beta.
So yeah, I mean, I wasn't really all that hyped for that fight, but it is what it is, and it was some good entertainment before the main event, which I thought lived up to the hype. And Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko, wow, what an event, man! I had a lot of people, my friends came over for the fight. I had some friends watch the fight just on their own. They wanted to watch it. I sent a few links out. Even though it was on ESPN, but I know a lot of people don't have cable. So, so yeah, man, I know a lot of people got the chance to see it, and I'm hoping that it does some good numbers. I think that would be a really great fight for people to, let it pique people's interest and bring them back into the sport. Because like you mentioned it the other day, man, people don't really be checking for boxing like they do for other things. For most things, boxing, it falls below probably even golf here in America, which is pretty unfortunate. But outside of America, you leave America, and it's it depends on which country you go to. But over in London, they fucking love it. I'm sure a lot of people in London probably watched it last night. They probably stayed up till 3-4 a.m. or whatever time it is to watch it, because they love boxing.
Right.
And it was it was a fun fight, man. It had everything, all the elements that make a fight fun and exciting and worth it. It didn't even start out that slow, but Teofimo wasn't like too cautious, but he was confident in there, and it just kind of okay, something happened there. It just kind of boiled, and then in the 8th round, the fight really started. And truthfully, I think they could have gone, like, both of them could have gone harder. Like, no, sounds weird, but both of them could have gone, a lot. They could have probably dug deeper and gave us more action. But, man, but for being 23, 24 years old and being on that stage, that's a really big opportunity for you, man. Life-changing. So I mean, what do you think, man? What do you think? You tell me. I'm talking.
I want to apologize. I don't know if I cut out on here.
Yeah, you did. So I had to re-add you there.
I got bad. There's bad weather rolling in over here. I don't know if you guys.
You're good, man. What do you think of the fight?
But yeah. So I was pulling for Loma, man. I always like seeing those veteran boxers go in and kind of be a stepping stone challenge for these younger kids coming in. But I got to say, man, my respect for Teofimo last night, and my dad and I were actually just talking about this earlier today, is it skyrocketed, man. Lomachenko's footwork is insane. It's unmatched. The way he cuts the angles, man, and keeps you kind of guessing. And Fimo said it beautifully in his post-fight interview, man. He had to push the gas. He had to bring it to him. I thought he neutralized Lomachenko pretty much the first half. Rewatching it, I think when I talked to you, I said Lomachenko might have had the second round going into the 7th.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I can confidently say that anymore.
So you think he got the first 6 rounds? The
first half, yeah. And Lomachenko,
me too. That's how I felt too.
Yeah. Originally I had the second round, but honestly, upon further review on it, I don't think it was as close as what it was. So then, 7th through 11, Lomachenko kind of picked it up a little bit, started doing stuff that he should have done in the start, pressed the gas a little bit to Fimo. Fimo was using his range, man, and he was just boxing him on the outside. So you see when Loma starts coming in a little bit, Lopez plays a little bit more defensive, But then, credit to Teofimo, man. He's a freaking champ. Goes into that 12th round, man, and they tee off. And just neutralize Loma again, man. And I really liked going in. I think there's about 10 seconds left in that 12th round. And you can audibly hear, Femo's passion in the ring, saying, come on, bring it, let's do this. And loved it, So it was a great fight, man. And I really think this kid's going to be something special. I think he's going to be a dominant champ. I hope it's I hope he's here for a long time, man. And I hope this is a big wake up call for it's not even really against boxing, but I hope it's a wake up call for more platforms to be available. I think if they play it right with ESPN Plus, like you said, it was on ESPN. It was also on ESPN Plus if anybody had Plus. You're able to watch it, which that's been paying for itself by now, man, for me. But I hope we see more of that, man. Maybe they work something out with UFC where if it's a non-pay-per-view event, maybe have UFC start a little bit earlier. Because I think that's why they started earlier. I've never seen a fight card start that early for UFC. I mean, even with the lowest of fights, there's usually early prelims on Fight Pass, early prelims, and then the main card. So, I mean, that usually runs, that main card didn't start till about 8,
Yeah. So you liked it having starting it a little earlier. You because you got to watch both. You got to see what both.
I think they played that brilliantly because they were able to do them kind of at the same time. Because UFC's got to guarantee a payout to ESPN Plus. There's got to be some kind of payout that they've got worked out. I don't know the figures, but if they're going to have them there every single Saturday, UFC's got to bring something. So if they work out a little deal like that. Have it start a little bit earlier because when the benefit right now for no fans, you can really start those cards anytime you want, like Habib, it's actually the opposite because that card is actually going to start at our time at like 1 or 2 because it's going to be a live gate in Abu Dhabi. But how they've done it the entire time is you'll see the prelims start at Abu Dhabi 3-4 a.m. in the morning where it's actually 8-9 o'clock here. So it's nice that they're kind of have a little bit more flexibility now that there's not as much as the live gate. So we should be able to benefit that as being the viewers. But yeah, man, Lomachenko, I was pulling for him. I didn't really like his response to it, man. I mean, it's usually pretty standard. We got to go back and see it, but
I just don't I don't like here, and I don't know. I don't want to start doing this on the channel. And you mentioned this. Some fighters I just don't like Lomachenko, and I just don't like it. Like he just seems so kind of standoffish, and I don't want to just have people think that I'm biased as shit. And I gotta stop calling fighters bums because they're not bums, but it's just a term that I use to explain like a C level, B level type fighter that like. In a good matchup, I would still like to see. But like if it's against like a B- level fighter and a A+, I don't want to see that. Like what I'm saying. So that's why I call them bums. But and I gotta stop using that term, like I said. But I don't know, man. I'm not crazy about Lomachenko personally. He just seems a little standoffish to me. And even like he left the ring like immediately, which is that's what you want to do. You can just leave ASAP. I don't know if that's protocol or whatever, but. He's not from our country, man. And so had he won, he was just going to do the same thing. He was going to win and he was going to go home.
Right.
He's going to come make some money here in America and then go back to Ukraine. So, why am I don't know. Why am I disappointed that this dude lost? Like I'm not. I like that Teofimo gave us some fresh air, man. It's a breath of fresh air because we could start talking about like some really interesting fights. Like Devin Haney now, and I don't even think you've seen him fight before, but Devin Haney is an excellent fighter, man.
21-year-old.
I think he's 20, 23, 22. There's a lot of fighters in this group and in this class that like will fight each other in the future.
Haney?
Yeah, he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight this guy Gamboa, who I mean, basically he's gonna stunt on Gamboa basically, but Gamboa is not. He's not a. He's good, man. He's old.
Yeah.
He's been washed up a little bit. So Haney's gonna do his thing, and he's gonna look good. So I'm still gonna watch it because I like watching people. Like, it's not just about a fight to me sometimes too. Like, I like to see a good fight, but at the same time, like, I like to see like the art. Like, Devin Haney's gonna like go and paint this dude up. Like, he's not gonna probably won't knock him out, but he's gonna paint this dude the fuck up. And he might knock him out. I mean, he might, but like what I'm expecting is to see Devin Haney go and work and do his art, because and that's what draws me to that fight. But yeah, man. Last night was also some art too, man, and that it was the beauty of the sport, man. And hopefully we got some more of those. We should have plenty more of those kinds of fights next year. This year has been rough, but I'm really glad that paid off. So
well, didn't they announce that this was just first of some scheduled fights that were going to be home to ESPN now?
I don't know. I didn't catch that. They might have. But.
Something about that Top Rank was really looking at showing more on ESPN, which is awesome. I mean, case in point, like what you just said, I talked to Jason last night, our friend that we know of, Jason, and I always knew he was a boxing fan, but every time we had talked, we haven't really talked about, and I hadn't even mentioned it. Just called him out of the blue, and I'm like, hey man, what are you up to? And he's like, oh, I'm about to watch this Lomachenko fight. I'm like,
yeah.
So it's huge, man. It's huge. And, I'm embracing it, man. I'm ready to start seeing some more fights that happen. And, hopefully they get it in a way that's palpable, to people that they can consume it, they go through several different methods to watch it.
Right. I think ESPN is the best broadcaster, at this point in time. Just, yeah, I do miss HBO. But like, that platform is a little bit it's really restricting, because you got to have HBO, and then you got to I don't know how people use HBO, how they do in their personal lives, but like
the pay-per-view,
like ESPN just is able to like put it out there. They're a really great promoter, or broadcaster, and a great promoter, but they don't have the same kind of like magic that HBO had, like the movie magic, you know what I mean? Like they have. They're really great, like news network and stuff, but if they had and I see them work. I see them trying to work on it now, where they'll have like a voice actor from, one of my friends knew one of the voice actors last night, and they was really impressed. But yeah, man, I mean, I like what they're doing. Hopefully it did good numbers, and hopefully the networks see that people say boxing is dead, man, but obviously it's not. Like, obviously when you get the right fight, it can generate a lot of money. And I don't know how much Teofimo made last night, but this kid stands to make a lot more money in the future. That's for damn sure.
For sure. Yeah, man. It's the one thing ESPN's got that's huge is they've got Disney to back it, and Disney's rich. So, and you're going to see a lot more integration. I mean, Disney has Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus. So they've got 3 pretty big size streaming services. So you're definitely going to maybe see some more acquisition as far as like I don't think UFC, at least for the time being, is going to ever go back to not having stuff on ESPN Plus. I think that's a long-term deal. And I think at some point, or I would hope to see, maybe they make it in a way where the pay-per-view is a little bit easier to digest. Maybe get like a little, because I think you get a little bit of a discount if you have membership, but it's not big. DAZN, doesn't it come with the pay-per-views?
Yeah, there's no pay-per-view on DAZN, but I mean, DAZN is a struggling platform right now. So when you consider ESPN being the global sports leader in like sports news and stuff, and their like audience and their market, like not even the people who don't even watch ESPN will listen to ESPN because they think that they're legit. Right. They'll go to ESPN because they think that ESPN is
global. I mean, when you've got 5-6 different channels on cable, of just ESPN. It's a global leader, you know.
And DAZN probably gets like on some of their fight cards, man. Probably like they had a fucking Chavez Jr. and Chavez Sr. like exhibition fight in Mexico like a few weeks ago, and I bet that probably got like 10,000 views. Like,
it's rough. But, you know, maybe I think this was a big thing to revitalize the sport, man. This fight.
Yeah. So,
even if you're not a big boxing fan, you hear it all the time. Lomachenko, 396-1. You know, one of the greatest pro amateur fighters of all time, if not the best. You know, you hear it all the time. You know, so, and people were starting to hear about Lopez too. So this fight definitely cemented. It is coming, you know, being revitalized. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a star now, man. Like people like this kid now. So,
man, insane.
Yeah, I'm glad your old man watched it too, because when we talked, he said that he hadn't watched boxing in a long time. So you know, he's catching some good fights.
I'm trying to remember that fight last night, Lomachenko and Lopez. I'm trying to remember if it was this fight or if it was the Saucedo and Barboza fight. Didn't they stop it briefly to see? Sorry, my temperature gauge is going off. Didn't they stop it to have a doctor take a look at Lopez's forehead?
Yeah, like it was like the last like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
that was so whack.
That was so weird, man. I was actually afraid of right there. I mean, it wasn't. It was right off to the side of his eye, so it wasn't.
Really just so unnecessary.
You know, when that stuff happens, dude. That stuff.
Yeah.
Get stuff called off like that.
That's so weird, man. Yeah, that would have been some.
That would have been a no contest, right?
I think we would have had to delete the podcast if that. I think we would have had to delete the podcast if that would have happened.
Yeah, I get you, man. Oh man, but I think that about does it, man. We got some stuff, you know, but you know. We'll keep you guys updated when we get kind of closer to that Khabib Gaethje fight. I think that's the next kind of big thing we got going on. I'll keep my eye out and ear out, talking, you know, vet it through you with some boxing. But yeah, man, I think we're gonna enter the kind of later part of the year, man. So all those UFC fights that were kind of drying up a little bit, we're gonna start getting some big ones back. So that'll be cool. I think that's about does it. You have anything else to?
Yeah, I mean, thanks, guys. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, all that shit. Leave a comment if you guys fuck with us. And if you don't fuck with us, you know, you can dislike the video too. That's cool.
Right. Still like it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to like us either way. So I'm going to let Brendan go, and I'm going to let you guys get back to spanking your monkeys on the internet. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you later.
Peace out, buddy.